Good evening. Coming to you live, it's Slichot night. We are so glad you are with us tonight. Joining from your living rooms and dining rooms and back patios, from Charlotte and Fort Mill and Matthews and Hickory, and who knows what other parts of the country and the world. Cantor Thomas and I are here at Temple Beth El. But as you can see, we are in different parts of the building. So if you've ever wanted to be in both the Blumenthal Sanctuary and the Archer Chapel for Slichot, this is your night. We want to welcome all of our Temple Beth El members and guests, those of you who have been coming to this service for years, and those of you joining for the very first time. Wherever you are, however you have gotten to us, you are so welcome here. We begin by marking the transition between Shabbat and the week, praying together the words of Havdalah. Candles and spices, for these my soul hopes and waits. And if you would, a sweet cup of wine for Havdalah. Angels above, make way, make way. Clear a path for my troubled soul. Open for me the gates. With yearning heart, I lift my eyes to the one who meets my needs by day and by night. Grant me my measure from your treasury of goodness, for your love never ends. Your devotion is boundless. Renew my joy, my bread, my delight. Remove my sorrow, pain, and despair. Behold, the 6 days of work, the days of creation, always return anew. So too, let goodness and peace return with them, each day renewed.
Hine el Yeshuati, evtach velo echad, ki ozi vezimrat ya Adonai, vayehi li lishua. Behold, God of my deliverance, full of trust, I am not afraid, for Adonai is my strength and the song of my salvation, now and always. La Yehudim haytawara v'simcha v'sason v'ikar kein tielanu. As our ancestors knew light and gladness, honor and joy, may we, their descendants, know them as well. Adonai המבדיל בין קודש לחול, חטאותינו הוא ימחול. זרענו וכספנו ירבה כחול, וככוכבים בלילה. שבוע טוב, 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 שבוע טוב. A good week, a week of peace, may gladness reign and joy increase. A good week, a week of peace, may gladness reign and joy increase. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Atishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi. Bimheira beyamenu, Yavo Eleinu. Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben David. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Atishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi.
Havdalah marks the transition from Shabbat into the rest of the week, and Slichot marks a transition as well. For over a month now, we have been preparing, reflecting, processing, asking ourselves questions, seeking answers, preparing ourselves to shuv, to turn. Tonight we stand for the first time before those great metaphorical gates, and we feel inadequate. We have not done enough. We have not prepared. And we wonder, what else could we have done? Especially in this year, what could we have done? We are angry and defensive and heartbroken and tired. But we are here. We are here to say the words, to hear the melodies. We are here to drop our defenses, to let go of our anger, to admit that we are unprepared. And there's no way, not really, to be prepared. It is impossible. All we can do is stand before the gates, holding ourselves as open as our hearts will allow, and let ourselves be moved. Let ourselves shuv. Let ourselves turn. Let us begin. Last sliver of the moon, the waning crescent, small and slender, glowing in the east at the end of the journey. A curve of silver, barely there, that fades away with the dawn. Faintest light the eye can discern, like the soul within me, barely there, waning and weary as the year winds down. At the end of the journey, the old moon flickers out, and darkness awaits the new. Now, in the stillness, we can feel it being born. Remind us, the horizon will be bright again. The waxing crescent will rise. Heal our hearts. Gather us from the darkness. Restore the light within us.
Create a pure heart in me, O God. Create a pure heart in me. Create a pure heart in me, O God. Create a pure heart in me, and renew a true soul within
The psalmist sang at midnight, "Rise to give thanks and praise." And so we come to this hour of Slichot under the canopy of night to celebrate goodness, to proclaim what is right and true, to praise, to thank, to bless the great giver who gives and renews our lives. We take a few moments for silent reflection. In any other year, we would pause now to take each Torah out of the ark and lovingly redress them in their High Holy Day garb. In any other year, as we shuffled around removing and replacing Torah covers, we would invite you all to take a moment and think about what kinds of changes you might need to make to fully enter the new year. But as you all know well, this year is not any other year. And in order to prepare for the holidays, much of our preparations took place earlier than usual, which means that our Torahs have been dressed for Rosh Hashanah for a good long time now, patiently waiting for the rest of us to catch up. And though our Torahs may be ready for Rosh Hashanah, we still need that time for transition. So, as we ask again for help in purifying our hearts, we too symbolically clothe ourselves anew, moving ever closer toward that clean slate, that opportunity to do it all a little better, a little more intentionally this year.
Pure heart in me, O God, create a pure heart in me, and renew a true soul within me, and renew a true soul within, and renew a true soul within me, and renew true soul within. Ashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva
As many of you know, we have been offering daily quotes and questions throughout the month of Elul as an opportunity to reflect on this past year. It has been lovely to read some of your responses, to see the varying ways people interpret the same words and the way each question hits home uniquely. Tonight, I want to visit 3 of those quotes and the questions we offered. First, on brokenness and repair. The very first quote we posted by Nachman of Bratslav reads, "If you believe breaking is possible, believe fixing is possible." And it reminds me of a lesson Rabbi Alan Liu teaches in This Is Real and You're Completely Unprepared, the book we are reading together this holiday season. In his chapter on Slichot, he defines heartbreak as, quote, "the feeling that we have done our best, we have given it our all, but it hasn't been enough," end quote. It is a feeling I imagine we have each felt at some point. Utterly hopeless and helpless, wordless, the sensation of our heart bursting into a million pieces. Heartbreak is the moment we realize and recognize that all the love in the world is not always enough, that love can go unseen, that not all love is returned in kind, that love will not keep our dearest ones from someday dying. We all know breaking is possible. In fact, during Slichot, we are actually instructed to break open our own hearts, to crack open the protective armor we have built up and scrape away the layers of grit and grime that have accumulated. We don't often think of the act of breaking open our own hearts as leaving us heartbroken, but the result is the same. We are left open to the elements, raw and vulnerable, and often in a great deal of pain. But both involuntary and voluntary heartbreak reminds us, as the great sage Leonard Cohen wisely intoned, that cracks and fissures are what lets the light in. And so Nachman of Bratslav teaches us, if you believe breaking is possible, believe fixing is possible. It is hard in our most broken moments to believe. It is hard to have faith that anything is possible, that we will ever feel anything other than hopeless and helpless. And it is for this reason that Rabbi Liu reminds us, just after describing heartbreak, of the words of Psalm 34, "God is close to the brokenhearted." When we feel most alone, God is closer than ever. When we feel most vulnerable, God can be our shield. Whether you believe in a tangible or intangible God, whether for you God can best be described as the energy that flows between every living thing, or whether the word God does not resonate, but you can somehow sense sometimes, even if not all the time, that the universe has your back, know this: our broken hearts can heal, and they will. We must simply allow ourselves to believe it is possible. Which brings us to our second text on choice. Madeleine L'Engle wrote, "It is the ability to choose which makes us human." One of our congregants, in responding to the question prompt for this quote, noted that the most difficult decision she made this year was also easy. She knew right away, but it broke her heart. The ability to choose can be incredibly painful, but it is also one of the most powerful tools we have. It gifts us agency and the chance to start and chart our own course. It can help us protect those we love. It is what allows us to exist fully in the world. The challenge, of course, is that in order to make hard choices, we must wrestle with all sorts of feelings. Another congregant admitted that the choice he made, even though it was the right one, left him feeling like a failure. When the choices we make, even when they are right, seem to lead to more pain and anguish, or when we find ourselves paralyzed, unable to even make a choice, unable to act, we can remember the words of the third quote I will offer tonight from Hannah Arendt. Forgiveness is the key to action and freedom. Forgiveness unlocks that which keeps us paralyzed. Forgiveness cracks us open but it also begins the mending process. In reflecting on the prompts offered in connection to this question about how forgiveness might offer us freedom from anger, one of our congregants wrote, "Freedom, the ability to learn and grow and do something differently, the ability to move forward, to overcome the hurdle of knowing what was wrong and moving in the direction of right. With such a divided and angry country right now, have we allowed this anger to overwhelm the desire to care, truly care for one another? Perhaps forgiveness of our past evils, of our complacency, of my privilege as an individual, might provide the freedom to move forward in a more productive way." As we stand at the gates, preparing for them to crack open for us, may we too crack ourselves open. May we choose, with our eyes wide open, to break our own hearts, trusting that the choice may be difficult, but will bring healing, remembering that fixing is possible. And with our broken hearts laid bare, may we find the forgiveness we seek from God, from each other, and perhaps most importantly, from ourselves. We take the next few moments for silent reflection.
Please rise. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu.
We continue now with Vidui, our public communal confession. Please join me. God of forgiveness, you examine the heart, reveal its deep, speak what is right. Majestic in wonders, ancient source of comfort, you recall our ancestors' covenant, seek out our innermost being. Soul of goodness, you bestow goodness and know all mysteries. Arrayed in righteousness, you overcome sin.
Eloheinu, Velohei Avoteinu, Veimotenu, Tavo lefanecha, Tefilateinu, Ve'ol titalam, Mitchinateinu, Shein anachnu, Hazefanim ukeshei oref, Lomar lefanecha, Adonai Eloheinu, Velohei Avoteinu, Tzadikim anachnu, Velo chatanu.
Our Vidui is an acrostic, an alphabet of wrongdoing. The confessions we are about to recite are cringeworthy and uncomfortable. Each year, I have to brace myself, to actively remind myself to read the words honestly and openly, without silently inserting caveats or excuses. Once in college, I actually took a pencil out and wrote down the confessions that punched me hardest in the gut, and then kept that piece of paper for a while as a reminder. I too am guilty. I too am responsible. But I am not alone. We are all in this together. And so we offer these words, strengthened by the knowledge that if we all can name our wrongdoings, then we all can work together to right those wrongs. We continue with the words of Vidui. We abused and abandoned. We acted without thinking. We blamed others when we failed. We boasted and belittled. We coveted and corrupted. We coerced the weak to do our will. We drove away those we love with silence. We deceived and denied. We enticed and enslaved. We exalted money and material goods. We fouled air, sea, and land. We flattered and falsified. We gravitated to those who gossip. We gave up our ideals and gave in to our impulses. We hated and humiliated. We held grudges and refused to forgive. We ignored and idolized. We insisted that we were right. We judged others rashly and wrongly. We were jealous and unjust. We killed. We were knowingly unkind. We kept to ourselves in the face of need. We lacked commitment to causes we espoused. We were lazy and we lied. We missed the mark and minimized our mistakes. We mocked what we did not understand. We neglected those who depend on us. We were negative and narcissistic. We overreached and overreacted, too often erupting in outbursts of anger. We poisoned and polluted. We perverted truth for personal gain. We quelled the voice of conscience within us. We quit too soon and quarreled too often. We ridiculed and resented. We refused to accept help. We rationalized our failings and our flaws. We spurned the wisdom of our tradition. We squabbled and scorned. We talked too much or not enough. We traumatized our children with anger. We issued ultimatums and made ugly threats. We uttered untruths and undermined with cynicism. We were vain and vicious. We vilified foreigners and strangers. We wasted time, strength, and talent. We wallowed in self-pity, wished, but did not act. We exploited and expropriated. We expected others to save the world. We yearned too much for prizes and praise and failed to share fully in the joy of Zion reborn. Ashamnu,
Bagadnu,
Bagadnu,
Gazalnu,
Gazalnu,
Dibarnu Dofi,
Dibarnu Dofi,
Ay, 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 He'evinu,
He'evinu,
V'hirshanu,
V'hirshanu,
Zadnu,
Zadnu,
Chamasnu,
Hamasnu,
Tafalnu Shaker,
Tafalnu Shaker,
Ay, 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 Ya'atznu Ra,
Ya'atznu Ra,
Kizavnu,
Kizavnu,
Lotznu,
Lotznu,
Maradnu,
Maradnu,
Niatznu,
Niatznu,
Ay, 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 Sararnu,
Sararnu,
Avinu,
Avinu,
Ashanu,
Hashanu,
Sararnu,
Sararnu,
Ishinu Oref,
Kishinu Oref,
Ay, 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 Rashanu,
Rashanu,
Shichatnu,
Shichatnu,
Tiavnu,
Tiavnu,
Ta'inu,
Ta'inu, From the place where we are right, flowers will never grow in the spring. The place where we are right is hard and trampled like a yard. But doubts and loves dig up the world like a mole, a plow, and a whisper will be heard in the place where the ruined house once stood.
Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chanun, El Rachum v'Chanun, Erech Apayim, v'Rav Chesed ve'emet, Notzer Chesed la'alafim, Notzer Chesed la'alafim, Nosei avon va'fesha v'chata'a v'nakeh. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chanun.
Hear our call, Adonai our God. Show us compassion. Accept our prayer with love and goodwill. Take us back, Adonai. Let us come back to you. Renew our days as in the past. Hear our words, Adonai. Understand our unspoken thoughts. May the speech of our mouth and our heart's quiet prayer be acceptable to you, Adonai, our rock and our Redeemer. Do not cast us away from your presence or cut us off from your Holy Spirit. Do not cast us away when we are old, as our strength diminishes. Do not forsake us. Do not forsake us, Adonai. Be not far from us, our God. With hope, Adonai, we await you. Surely you, Adonai, our God, you will answer.
Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chanun, El Rachum v'Chanun, Erech Apayim, v'Rav Chesed ve'emet, Notzer Chesed la'alafim, Notzer Chesed la'alafim, Nosei avon va'fesha v'chata'a v'nakeh. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chanun.
Walk with me into the woods. Leave the edge of the forest behind. Come deep into the green until the shafts of sunlight are lost. Feel the stillness of the center. Walk with me to the top of the hill. leave the broad path behind. Up beyond where the trees grow, hear the quiet of the heights. Walk me into this new year, into its demands, into its joys, into the clamor of its unfolding. Walk alone, each of us on our own right path, with the echoes of the blasts of the shofar, with the stillness of the center, with the help of God. Soon our service will conclude. Each of us will be let out into the night, released into our own thoughts. As we begin to prepare to depart, we invite you to take one last moment of silence for yourself, to sit with your thoughts and offer up any words still on your heart tonight.
Tekiah.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.